What are we talking about?
Well, we're gonna be talking about the back rooms.
Yeah,
Not back doors. We're not talking about anal. We're talking about back rooms. So, do you know what the back rooms are?
I do. I do. I've seen this. Uh, like, I think the most important thing about this is the pictures on the internet that cause that thing in your brain to kind of like remember a place,
Mm-hmm.
or it has that feeling like that unsettling feeling of like, I've seen this,
Mm-hmm.
or like, because there's a bunch of them on the internet where I'm
This
like,
is the OG.
yeah, I've seen that place.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember where I saw it. It was in this fucking church. There was a bunch of chairs and tables back there. That fucking yellow light, the that has that blue pattern on it.
Right.
But no, this was just yellow lights and that main noise from the fluorescent bulbs and stuff. Fucking been there. But I really think that the story of just one thing, just a picture, you know, it's the modern day Slenderman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even like there's nothing in there that has like a scary tone to it, like Slenderman was in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
All the people that sit there and just add to the story that create this beautiful cornucopia of madness.
Mm-hmm.
And then like a few years later, you see the video,
Mm-hmm.
of the person going, into the back room and
Yeah.
seeing the infinite, like running space. And then
Mm-hmm.
finally, into, seeing what the entities look like. Cause I know a lot of people talk about those and they usually show the photos of just like, people walking weird and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, but when was your first introduction to this?
So we're just gonna just fuck this then.
No, 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 no,
So
no, motherfucker. We can go into this.
uh so
Yeah, yeah. We
my
can
first
go.
introduction to other shit written on the back.
Yeah, yeah. See, don't throw it
God
away.
damn. God damn it.
Okay.
No wait, it's just backwards. So my first introduction, I'm still admittedly on Kick, if anybody knows what that is. I was in a horror movie group chat and there
All
was
right.
this girl in there and she kept talking about backrooms. And at the
Right.
time I had no idea what the backrooms were. And people kept going, that's not really horror. Stop talking about that. This is a horror group.
Mm,
So I messaged her and I was like, what is this? What are you talking about?
right.
And she knew everything from beginning to end on this subject. And she told me a ton of stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if some of it she was just making up, how much of it was legit. Because in my research for this conversation, I went mostly based on what she told me.
Yeah.
And then some of the things that I couldn't find along with what she told that lined up with what she told me,
Yeah.
I dropped it out of my brain. um but yeah, so that's where I first heard about it, and that was probably 2-3 years ago now.
Yeah. I mean, what she was doing is technically not wrong because that's what makes the story better is when people
Right.
start adding their own perception of it. Yeah, there are no like if we were sitting here talking about like Charles Manson and the Manson family, there is
Right.
a single narrative, maybe two,
Right,
but
that documentary that Quentin Tarantino made.
yeah. Um, but with the back rooms, it's just a photo, and you as a person can add to this long list of stuff, of like accounts,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
like people saying, yeah, I made it to the place where people have wrote on the wall with like fucking not chalk, what black graphite, charcoal, you know.
No,
Oh, okay. I
whatever.
thought you part.
You don't really edit videos, so like I was trying to like keep it
We're
inner, like,
live. We're fucking
yeah,
live.
yeah, it's
You
just
know.
raw.
Oh yeah, this is coming from the guy that for like 4 of our videos at the beginning, you just sat there and just burp, fucking like no introduction, just bah.
Oh, did I? I don't
Oh
remember.
yeah, oh yeah, I
Well,
remember
I'm
those.
classy now, so
Yeah, yeah, oh
whatever.
yeah. But yeah, so she's not wrong doing what she did. But what information do you have on the back
So,
rooms? Educate me because I'm still a little wishy-washy on this subject.
all right, so I'm going to be looking at my notes.
Okay.
Basically, this is an endless maze of randomly generated environments.
Okay.
So from what I'm to understand, there are 9,999 levels, depending on who you talk to.
Hmm.
Some people would say there are 86,400 levels,
Hmm.
because it goes to like 9,999, and then there's like level X, level
Yeah.
Q43. So like the technically the numerical value would continue up, and there's so much information, so many people have added to it that it just depends on who you're talking about.
Yeah.
The base story is 9,999. This place is 600 million square feet, which is also larger than Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that leads you to, what is this place? Because you have to clip, and I'll get into what clipping is in a
Yeah.
moment, but you have to clip there. So is it an alternate universe, another dimension? Are you clipping into another world? Where is this? Because it's essentially like a purgatory space that
It's
has
purgatory. Yeah.
levels. That part, there's not real information on, that's debated highly on what it actually is.
Hmm.
But as far as clipping, you know what clipping is. I know what clipping is. If you're watching this video, you probably know what clipping is because you play video games.
That's a video game
Um,
thing. Yeah.
it's
It's going through
essentially
the
a
data.
glitch. Yeah, it's a glitch and ending up where you're not supposed to be.
Right.
Like, in GTA, if you fly out of a car in a weird way and you end up inside a building that you can't walk into, but you fly inside the building,
Hmm.
it's there, it's part of the map, you just don't have access to that part of the map,
Yeah.
but through this glitch now you do.
Yeah.
That's essentially that's how you get to the back
You've
rooms.
glitched into it,
Yes.
basically. That's
Yes.
yeah. And that's an interesting concept where our technology and our, our video game minds have created
Mhm.
now horror like ideas that
Mhm.
at any given second, you accidentally hit 3 on your microwave, but it's like you were supposed to hit 2, and now you're in a
Now
completely
your
different
fucking
universe.
popcorn's burned.
Yeah.
God damn it. I hate burned popcorn. All right. Sorry.
But yeah, that is an interesting concept for it. And then yeah, you are in the back rooms.
Mhm.
Um, do you find the back rooms like do you find them scary? Or is it the fact that there are things there in the back rooms that is scary?
So in reality, they can be scary because who wants to be that alone?
Yeah.
Being alone, like you go take a shit, you got your phone, you read the back of a shampoo bottle if you're from the 80s or 90s like us,
Yeah.
like you're alone, but the ability to be back in social situations is right there, and or your phone is entertaining you, you're watching Netflix or
Right.
whatever. So, but to be completely isolated and completely alone, um, that is a little scary.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but no, I don't think it's scary because I don't know. Do you believe that this exists?
Mm, who knows? This is cryptozoology kind of feel. It's is what we see in those pictures the back rooms? No. I believe if a person actually fell through the back room. We ain't getting no fucking documentation on that shit. Um, like the whole premise is like Freddy Krueger. It's like
Mhm.
Slenderman. You know, are those things scary? Kinda, but I know it's not real. But it
Mhm.
still kind of weirds me out. You know, it
Right.
kind of
Right.
hits those marks.
Mhm.
Me, the idea and the concept of this, I find terrifying.
Mhm.
Not with there's monsters there and stuff, but imagine like you are in a place you do not know and you cannot find anything different. And plus fluorescent bulbs and like complete silence, you know,
Mhm.
no difference in noise and stuff.
Yeah, just the
It would be
buzzing.
deafening. It
Yeah.
would like my brain would, start playing tricks on me. I think the incorporation of the entities or the monsters in there is not needed.
Right.
Just the idea of an infinite maze kind of deal. You know, it doesn't matter if there's like 999, 800, and no. You don't have to give me an exact number.
Mhm.
It's just that infinite, like you're walking back and forth, and you haven't seen anything different. Like
Mhm.
that, the mind needs something to kind of like
Change
change. Yeah,
to stimulate. Yeah.
just something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I don't even like the modern day hospitals because they're so similar.
Mhm.
When you're walking through like a hospital, like the old ones, they have like difference, like little small differences.
Mhm.
This has like no differences. Like modern day hospitals, like they all look the same. The only thing that's different is like they do put windows,
Mhm.
around so you can see outside.
Yeah.
So
I think that that's a good correlation if you're trying to imagine what the backrooms is. Like behind me, this is level 0.
yeah,
This is most of the time when you clip into the backrooms, this is where you start. Apparently the carpet is damp and these lights make a humming noise like all
hmm
fluorescent lights do, but it's so deafeningly quiet that that's all you can hear are those lights. Never mind the power plug right here to
yeah,
charge your phone with. But if you look, you can see that it's just this room leads into another room that leads into another room that
yeah,
leads into,
yeah,
and they're all the exact same. And that to me is oddly for both of these things, it's like a hyperbaric chamber, like a
yeah,
sound definition room, where it's absolute silence and it's claustrophobic,
yeah,
even though it's large, because there's no getting out.
yeah,
Like, and that's what triggers the fear of claustrophobia is I can't get out of here. I'm stuck in this tiny place. Even though the size is massive, you're stuck in here and you can't get out. It's got to be like prison or like, but the correlation, what I was saying was hospitals, massive office buildings,
yeah,
even prisons, everything's exactly the same. There's no architectural difference and it's just empty and vast,
yeah.
and the idea of it is creepy pasta.
Yes,
So
that's that's the term. I mean, it's probably the one that's really like take hold of modern days of creepypasta that kind of like killed off the Slenderman and
mhm,
all the a million other creepypastas out there.
right.
The back rooms is now what, like, God, how many times you see that picture? And just a picture, and then
Hmm.
like I said, the video came out where somebody recreated, that
Yeah.
back rooms thing. But there's
Have you
that
read posts of people that have supposedly been to the back rooms?
a little bit,
Yeah.
yes, and they're similar but different. Like someone going to the or I found writing on a wall,
Hmm.
or they found a door chute that led to the next level, and it's similar but has differences. I mean, there's like a million and one videos out there
Hmm.
about this topic, but um they try to describe it, but each one has its differences and similarities,
Mhm.
you know.
And it's funny because within this realm of like, okay, so we have the same location, right?
Right.
It's always the back rooms. Most of the time you start on level 0.
Yeah.
But you read some of these accounts and you're like, oh fuck. And then you read some of them and you're like, ah, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And it's just weird that because it's all made up. More than nine times out of 10, like the chances are 99.9% that this is made up. There's
Right.
always possibility, but this is made up. For lack, this is basically made up. But it's funny though, even though you know it's made up, you still read these stories and like you're like, oh shit, I hope that person's gonna be okay.
They're
And then you
interesting.
read, yeah, and then you read stories and you're like, that guy's an idiot and he deserves to stay there. I hope he stays there forever.
Yeah, there are good storytellers, and then there are boring ones
Yeah.
on this.
And we are boring. We are so boring.
Nah. Um, the aspect and entity of the entities, though, throwing a monster, your minotaur in a labyrinth.
Mhm.
I've seen the pictures that there is out there in the
Mhm.
video, and the video. I think it's interesting.
Mhm.
Like it looks glitchy, like it's glitching also.
Yeah. I have
Um,
that video effect too.
yeah. Do you think it's necessary, or do you
The
think,
entities.
yeah, do you think that
So
the
let
thing
me,
chasing you through there is important to the story?
no, it's not important to the story. And for me, what it does is it makes it so like if you get stuck in the back rooms and somebody says there's 9,999 levels,
Yeah.
that's 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 depressing,
Yeah.
right? Because there's no exit. You can't just walk out of them. So that's going to be defeating right away.
Hmm.
And then it's non-linear, so you might go from level 0 to level 700, down to 30, down to fucking 2, back to 0, back to 9,000. So all that is, it's all working against you, and
Yeah.
then on
Yeah.
top of that you're going to throw monsters that want to eat me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit down. I'm just going to sit down and be like, fuck it, whatever
Yeah,
happens
just
happens.
like, yeah, there's no winning, and there's
Right.
no, if there are things back here. I would almost find it more scary is if, let's say, I'm back there
Mhm.
and I've been running, doing that back and forth, and that whole thing for like an hour, because you start off, you see that you're gonna walk, and you're going to realize that you're not getting anywhere. So you're going to kind of run through this a little bit, jobber jogging.
I'm not running anywhere,
Yeah.
but yeah.
And then there's going to be a moment of defeat. But imagine like you do that for an hour, and then all of a sudden you find something different.
Mhm.
You see something different. You ain't never seen it before. That gets the hopes up, and that gets your hope up. And like, oh, I am making progress, because the same thing over and over,
Mhm.
how do I know this place isn't just an infinite loop of itself?
Right. Right.
The second that I turn the corner, it's just like leading me in a circle,
Mhm.
but seeing small differences, the light socket on the wall, maybe a door I can
Mhm.
open, like in the story, you can add
But there's ways to
small
track
things.
your progress.
Yeah. And, but I think the monster,
Mhm.
it just adds like that, like, yeah, effect. It
Mhm.
doesn't need to be there. The place itself is the scary. That's the scary, not like there's a monster in there, the Minotaur, that's,
So your dreams are scary, not Freddy Krueger.
yeah. Yeah.
The camp is scary, not Jason.
Right. The
Babysitting is scary, not
Yeah,
Michael
because if
Myers.
Jason's running after you, it's just like, oh, what are you gonna do?
Right. That's why I said I would sit down.
Yeah.
Like,
All right. Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
fucking play.
Exactly. Like your number. Like you've walked to all the cabins at Camp Crystal Lake, and saw all your friends murdered, and then all of a sudden a guy with a hockey mask with an axe, and then you just go, "Oh, okay, yeah, I guess it's mine. What am I gonna do? Outrun you?"
Yeah.
Obviously nothing fucking works.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it doesn't. But like being stuck in that place is a lot more terrifying to me
Mm,
than like there's a monster. It's like,
yeah.
yeah, okay.
I think that they complement each other well. I was reading through the entities, and there's also there's 9,999 different uh classifications of entities.
Yeah, yeah,
But again, same thing with the amount of levels. Either there's that many or there's 10,015 entities, depending on because there's like entity 7,
yeah.
L4, 3, you know what I mean? So like again, same thing with the levels. There since we're on the topic of the entities, most of them sound so stupid
Hmm,
that like a 4-year-old made them up. Like there's a
probably.
bunny and its tail is really, really big and it sits on you. Like that's not scary,
Really? Is
dude.
that
Like
one, or did you make that up?
no, that
Oh,
I
okay.
made that one up. Or did I? But like that's the type of entities that I was finding because you run out of good shit. Just
Yeah,
like horror movies, you run out of good ideas. So you start coming up with bad ideas.
yeah,
And that's what it seemed like. And even the first set, like the first handful, uh, none of them are terrifying. None of them are like, they're all very, very simple. Like, so there's a few that could be scary. There's hounds. Um, these are naked humanoid entities with black hair, large mouths, with tons of razor sharp teeth. They have a bony structure with long limbs and big claws. Now that can be scary. That's something that like when you say there's monsters in the back rooms, that's what I'm thinking.
right.
Something that walks weird, that's quadriplegic, or no, wait, it's a
Yeah,
quadruped. Not, it's paralyzed from the
yeah,
neck
yeah.
down.
It's just sitting over in a corner, yelling at you. Get back here,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Yeah, come here, come
Yeah,
here. Pick up my hand and
yeah,
scratch yourself with it.
yeah,
But it's a quadruped, so it's on all fours and it moves weird. The like
yeah,
those scary type images that you can picture in your mind. But then there's like the dumb ones, like the bunny thing that I made up. Like
yeah.
it's just like, dude, less is more, basically.
Yes, that's a good term. I mean, because you're like describing this humanoid that's like, they're called the hounds and they're this and that and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd be scared of regular fucking dogs in there chasing me, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. Put a pit bull in there.
Yeah, exactly. Or like all of a sudden, like out of those fucking like ceiling
2,000
tiles,
chihuahuas come
or
running at you.
like just cockroaches and shit.
Yeah,
It's just like,
yeah.
or like a bunch of flies. Like you just
Where's Joe
start
Rogan? Is
walking.
this Fear Factor?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And to advance to the next level, you have to eat human shit.
You have to eat your own asshole.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but like,
Like,
so again with the entities, there's one specific entity that the girl told me about, and she explained more about this one than any of the other ones.
okay.
Because once I got into it, I was like, this is kind of fun. I even brought it up to you, and you seemed like you didn't give a shit.
Yeah, no.
So I'm actually surprised that we're on this episode. When you sent it to me, I was like, really? But she spoke about entity number 7, technically entity number 7, Jerry.
Huh.
He's a parrot, or he's some sort of parrot. He's like a very specific type of parrot, but his powers are he will indoctrinate you.
Jesus.
Yeah, he will turn you into a cult member of his cult where you praise him, unless you give him almond water or almonds.
Where the
Um,
fuck are you gonna find almonds in the fucking back
apparently
rooms?
they're around.
Oh,
Apparently they're around. Um,
there are vending machines in the back room and
because
stuff.
we know on our plane of existence, almond water doesn't fucking exist. Almond
Mm.
milk does, but not almond water. But apparently, almond water and almonds can be found in the back rooms, and it's your source of nutrition, basically.
Mhm.
Um, and Jerry, or you can give him sunflower seeds, not almonds. I'm sorry, but he will try to coax you into his cult, and then once you're in his cult, that's it. You're just mindless zombie, a part of his horde, essentially. Um, so he's found in level 1, 2, sometimes 3.
Stay
Um,
away from the parrots.
yeah. But if you give him almond water or sunflower seeds, he'll be your friend and he'll help you.
Hmm.
So it's these weird things where it's like that's super weird. It's a parrot named Jerry
No.
that has a cult that he tries to indoctrinate you in. But if you give him sunflower seeds, he's your friend and he'll
Yeah,
help you along your way.
or almond
Um,
water.
yeah, or almond water.
Like, yeah, I mean, but that's a story like this. You can take any mix match idea things,
Right.
throw them together,
Yeah.
and they seem creepy. Like a
Yeah.
parrot trying to get you to join the cult of Parrot Jerry. You know, um, these things really, like, oh yeah, like entity number 27. It's David Bowie from the Labyrinth and stuff, but his bulge is really big,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
sings all the songs to you, and
And the
throws it.
harder you run from him, the bigger his bulge gets.
Yeah, fucking like, but that's what this creates.
Right.
Just like
Right.
Slender Man. Like when I first heard about the idea of Slender Man, it was a very simple story, and
Mm,
then more and more and more
yeah.
until the those girls up in fucking Michigan, fucking no, not Michigan,
Wasn't it?
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It was up in Wisconsin. Until that happened,
Yeah.
like it really just started growing into this kind of monster, or like the Chuck E. Cheese, mechanical
The
animals and
animatronics.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's, and
Mm,
it's this creepy pasta that kind of takes on its own little
yeah.
thing, and then people just start adding to it, and you don't
Mm,
know, is this the original idea where they were going, or is it
right.
so blown out by people's enjoyment of it that they're just creating their own thing?
Well,
And
yeah.
that's
I
what I'm
mean,
hearing
that's
now.
that's clearly, I believe, what happened here for sure.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, obviously, with the amount of details and options and entities and levels, this is where I come back to with less is more.
Yes.
If you told somebody like that's it, there's dark spots, there's bright spots,
Yeah.
all you're ever going to hear is the hum of those lights and the carpet's moist, like it smells like mildew, and all you hear is
Yeah.
like they're throw in some entities, that's fine, but make them like the hounds, something that your mind can make scary.
Yeah.
And that's the extent of it. And it goes forever.
Or even like hearing people talk off in the distance, and or like mirage,
Right.
let
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
maybe your brain
There's a
plays
Burger
tricks on you.
King like 2 miles down this room,
I smell Burger
but
King.
you
Yeah.
but you get there
Yeah.
and it's just fucking Arby's and
Yeah,
you're
it's
bummed.
yeah. That's like those ideas. That's just like, do you have the exact date that the picture showed up on the internet?
No, it was on 4chan a long time ago though. Well,
No.
not a long time ago, but It was a while back
I want to
now.
say like 2014. Uh,
I mean, yeah, that probably sounds about right. We're not really known to be accurate with dates and times,
names
but
or
yeah, well, yeah, not names either. Um,
I got the Wikipedia page, and if I can just find the exact day, of course, it says everything except for May 19th, 2029,
2019,
2019, May
2000, 2019.
yeah, 2019.
Yeah, so I mean it's relatively recent, but so yeah, I guess I was talking about this as it happened, but which would explain her enthusiasm for it. But
No,
uh it's very strange because again, like when I first heard about this, she was explaining to me that like okay, there's Jerry, there's these other entities, there's like the party goers and the toxic spitters
yeah,
and all this weird stuff, but then she would tell me that there's two factions that are down there,
yeah,
and I'm like, what? And she's like, there's from the era of like Eisenhower, like President Eisenhower
uh,
sent an exploratory military group into the back rooms to figure out what the back rooms are, how to get there, like in and out, like find a way in and out on a regular basis,
no,
and also to try to like defeat the entities essentially.
yeah,
And now they kind of run the back rooms,
hmm hmm
and they're so I and like they like they're pit against each other essentially in the back rooms.
yeah,
Well, doing research on them, because that was like one of the first things that came up because not a lot of people talk about them that much. I couldn't find that there was two. I found that there was one exploratory militant group, and it was, it's like anything else where you're exploring some, strange land.
yeah,
You send in your military part of it, you send in your scientist part of it, you send in, your survivalist, whatever. You send in a bunch of different people, like the thing, and you had like your
Stargate.
right, exactly. Any sort of sci-fi type thing. Usually, there's the
Yeah.
guys with the guns, the guys with the microscopes, and then there's the guys that they send to blow all those guys to keep them happy. But so I found the Meg, which is the major explorer group, essentially. Super genius name.
Yeah,
Um, but we look around. That's what they should have called it. Anyway, so they were sent there, and they're supposed to help the wanderers, and basically they only help people that have found themselves there by accident.
okay.
If you choose to go to the back rooms, if you find that weird entryway, you recognize it and you go in on purpose, you're on your own. But if you
Hmm.
fall into the back rooms by accident, then they're there to help you. um
Yeah,
they're
too
also
much.
yeah, but they're
That's
also there to act as like a governing force of the back rooms. So that's where like you start tipping towards the too much,
yeah.
like less is more. You don't need that. I think it's funny that they said that like under President Eisenhower sent these guys in. I think that that's funny, that's interesting. Like, yeah, why not? It wasn't Obama, it
Yeah.
was fucking Eisenhower. Like,
Well,
sure,
it
let's
was
make this
Grover
place a
Cleveland or
right,
some
let's
shit,
make
you know.
this place 4 billion years old. Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? um but so that's always funny to me, like, because there's that teetering line where it's too much,
Right.
and everybody's is different. Some people eat every last bit of this up, some people don't.
It's an
But
interesting story kind of concept where I think we've mentioned it and stuff where like yeah, when people start throwing anything at the wall and
mhm,
it just becomes part of the wiki, you
mhm,
know, it just becomes automatic and yeah, and then you get like two factioning groups instead of the idea of oh no, it's just you are
yeah,
stuck in this labyrinth
right,
and there might be a way out, there might not. We
right,
don't there, it is unknown.
mhm,
That's like less is more. That's what makes it creepy. That's what
mm,
makes that photo work
eerie, yeah,
because it's it's not like that in those backroom photos and stuff. There's not like recruiting posters on the wall for the Meg faction down there and shit,
right, right, right,
join the Meg today,
yeah.
no, it's
But that
just you.
also kind of leads to like, so what I attribute the back rooms to me, a lot of times when I think about it and people are talking about it and we talk about like the Meg and the entities and stuff, it makes me think of like BioShock. You're
Yeah,
but BioShock's underwater. But like
or
you're
in
in
the
this
air.
place that's void of, it's underwater.
The third one was in the air.
I didn't play the third one because there's only two, Jerry.
No.
Um but anyways, you find yourself in a place that's void of people that clearly probably at one time had people.
Hmm.
It's your I am legend scenario where you just
Yeah.
wake up and the earth is gone and people are gone, and then you're just like, fuck, what am I going to do?
Right.
That's the scary thing. But they added to it. Some people love it. Some people have done great jobs adding certain things to it. Some people have done, terrible jobs and hindered it. But that's with anything. So,
Oh yeah.
you can't hate on it. They're trying to build the allure or whatever. But yeah, I
I'm
mean,
trying to,
I
and
just,
this is the only one that I really like. Creepypastas really turn into this factor of let's add more. I mean, it's not like tomorrow I'm gonna read an article about Bigfoot and he's like he's the reason that there's fentanyl.
mhm. Yeah,
He's the
yeah.
reason that
Right. Well, all right, look, he
there's
might not be the reason for fentanyl, but we do know Obama turned our frogs gay. So,
yeah, yeah, but like that's just like or Mothman is the reason that Jerry Springer got a television show back in the 90s.
mhm.
But it seems like creepypastas do this more and more and more.
Well, I think that the big creepypastas do because I mean, one subject, one creepypasta, it's considered a creepypasta, but it's not a creepypasta, just like the Backrooms isn't a creepypasta.
Well, I'd still
Um,
say it's in that category though.
it is in that category, but it didn't originate through a creepypasta.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing for me, I love the idea of the black-eyed kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I love. I research. I like talking about it, but there were a handful of stories, and now there's white-eyed kids, white-eyed adults, black-eyed adults,
Yeah.
and it's going and going and going,
Yeah.
and